15 perennials that will flower from late summer into autumn or fall. Hello, fellow plant lovers, and welcome back to Earthly Delights. If you're here, chances are you're someone who finds joy in nurturing life, whether it's a tiny pot of green on your windowsill or a sprawling garden that bursts with color. You're the kind of person who notices the little details, the first bud of the season, the way sunlight dances on a leaf, the hum of bees visiting your flowers. But perhaps, like many gardeners, you've faced that frustrating moment when midsummer fades and suddenly your garden feels empty. The colors dull, the blooms vanish, and you're left waiting for the next season to revive the magic. Today, I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. With the right choices, your garden can stay alive with color, movement, and life right through to autumn's first frost. Over the years, I've learned that it's not about planting more, it's about planting smarter. In this video, I'll share 15 perennials that bridge the gap between summer and fall, keeping your space vibrant when other gardens begin to fade. So if you're ready to transform those dull, late-season weeks into something truly spectacular, stay tuned. And before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Earthly Delights community, where every plant tells a story and every garden blooms with possibility. Part 1. Color that never quits. Front border stars. When late summer arrives, many gardens lose their spark, but not yours, not if you choose the right plants. Front border perennials are the first to greet you and your guests with bursts of color. These low yet lively blooms keep the energy alive, drawing the eye and inviting pollinators long after others have faded. 1. Aster Little Carlo, the star that outshines the season. Imagine walking through your garden at the end of August, when most flowers have given up, and suddenly a cloud of delicate lilac blue blooms catches your eye. That's Aster Little Carlo. This perennial is a true late-season star, thriving just when you think your garden has gone quiet. Unlike many asters, it's remarkably resistant to mildew, so its leaves stay fresh and green even during humid days. Standing about 2 feet tall, it's perfect for the front border, where its blooms can mingle with other plants and create a sea of color. Bees and butterflies adore it, making your garden a lively hub of activity even as autumn nears. The best part? It flowers continuously, filling that awkward gap between summer and fall with endless daisy-like blossoms. For gardeners who crave low-maintenance beauty, this aster asks for little. Just a sunny spot and some well-drained soil. It rewards you by lighting up the garden for weeks, sometimes even until the first frost. If you've ever wished for a plant that carries summer's spirit into autumn, Aster Little Carlo will not disappoint. 2. Helenium, short and sassy, a burst of fiery energy. As the days grow shorter and the light softens, Helenium, short and sassy, bursts into action with vibrant, sunset-colored petals. This compact perennial might be small in stature, but its personality is anything but. Its blooms radiate shades of orange, gold, and red, creating a fiery display that warms the garden as summer fades. Reaching about 18 inches in height, it fits perfectly at the front of the border, where its blooms can be fully appreciated. What makes it truly special is its ability to flower in waves. Just when you think it's done, new buds appear, extending its season well into autumn. Its sturdy stems keep the flowers upright, so there's no flopping, even after summer storms. Pollinators can't resist it either. You'll often find bees and butterflies dancing around its blossoms. And for you, the gardener, it's delightfully easy to care for. Give it full sun, keep the soil moist but not soggy, and it will reward you with a fiery show that outlasts many other plants. Helenium. Short and sassy is proof that great things really do come in small packages. 3. Calamintha nepeta, the gentle cloud of fragrance and flowers. Sometimes the most enchanting plants aren't the boldest, but the ones that quietly weave magic into your garden. Calamintha nepeta is exactly that. As late summer rolls in, this charming herbaceous perennial produces a soft mist of tiny lilac white flowers that seem to float above its aromatic foliage. Walk past it, and you'll catch a subtle minty scent that feels like a breath of fresh air on a warm evening. Despite its delicate look, Calamintha is tough and thrives in full sun with well-drained soil. It's the kind of plant that keeps flowering and flowering often until the very edge of autumn, and its blooms attract pollinators in droves, bees, butterflies, even the occasional hummingbird. This makes it not only a delight to the eyes and nose, but also a living banquet for beneficial wildlife. Low-growing and tidy, about 18 inches tall, it's ideal for the front border, where it can soften edges and mingle with other perennials. If it ever looks a bit untidy, a simple trim encourages fresh growth and more blooms. Calamintha nipida proves that even the most unassuming plants can steal the show with their grace, fragrance, and tireless bloom. Potentilla Ron McBeath, the ground cover that paints with red. When other plants are winding down, Potentilla Ron McBeath is just getting started. This low, spreading perennial is like an artist splashing strokes of lipstick red across your garden canvas. Its strawberry-like foliage hugs the ground, while its long, slender arms weave upward through nearby plants, adding pops of color exactly where you need them. What makes this plant so captivating is how it blooms over such a long period. Week after week, fresh buds appear, extending the show well into autumn. Its flowers are small but vivid, each one catching the light and standing out against the deep green leaves. This habit makes it perfect for softening the front edge of a border, spilling over rocks, or threading its way through ornamental grasses. Easy to grow, Potentilla Ron McBeath loves sun and tolerates a bit of shade. It's undemanding, needing little more than occasional watering during dry spells. Over time, it forms a mat of color that ties your planting scheme together. For gardeners who value both beauty and resilience, this perennial offers the best of both worlds, ground cover and vibrant blooms that refuse to quit. Part 2. Movement and texture, grasses and light fillers. Color isn't the only way to keep a garden alive. Movement and texture can transform even the quietest spaces. Late summer breezes bring these plants to life, their stems swaying and catching the light. In this part, we'll explore perennials that dance, shimmer, and add layers of beauty, turning your garden into a living painting. 5. Pheasant's tailgrass, Anemanthale lysoniana, the grass that glows with fire. If you've ever wished for a plant that adds movement, color, and drama all at once, pheasant's tailgrass is your answer. Known for its fine, arching blades that catch the breeze, this ornamental grass brings a sense of life and flow to your borders. But the real magic happens as the season shifts. By late summer, its green foliage begins to transform, glowing with fiery streaks of orange, copper, and red like autumn sneaking in early. Standing about 2 feet tall, it blends beautifully with both flowering perennials and shrubs, adding contrast without overwhelming the scene. Its airy seed heads drape gracefully, creating a soft, cascading effect that continues to sway in even the gentlest wind. While it may scatter seeds, a quick trim before they drop will keep it neat and prevent unwanted spreading. This grass thrives in full sun and well-drained soil, needing very little care once established. Its resilience and vibrant seasonal change make it a perfect choice for gardeners who love low-maintenance beauty. Pheasant's tailgrass doesn't just fill gaps, it transforms them, turning empty spaces into glowing patches of texture and color right through autumn. 6. Miscanthus morning light, the silver shimmer of late summer. Some plants don't just decorate your garden, they elevate it. Miscanthus morning light is one of those treasures. With its fine, narrow leaves edged in white, this ornamental grass catches every ray of sun, creating a shimmering silver haze that dances in the breeze. As summer wanes, it sends up tall, elegant plumes that rise above the foliage like feathery wands, glowing softly in the evening light. Reaching about 4 feet in height, it's perfect for adding vertical interest without overpowering nearby plants. Its upright habit keeps the border looking structured and graceful, making it an ideal backdrop for late-season blooms. By autumn, the plumes take on warm tones, blending beautifully with the season's palette of golds and reds. Miscanthus morning light is remarkably low maintenance. It thrives in sunny spots, tolerates a variety of soils, and asks for little beyond an annual cutback in late winter. For gardeners who crave both elegance and ease, this grass delivers a year-round presence, with its peak beauty shining in late summer through fall. It's a living sculpture that keeps your garden vibrant and full of motion. 7. Verbena bonariensis, The airy cloud of purple magic. When other flowers fade, Verbena bonariensis rises like a delicate purple mist, floating above the garden on slender, wiry stems. This tall yet airy perennial creates a dreamy effect, as if tiny violet blooms are suspended in midair. It's a favorite among gardeners who love a natural meadow-like look because it weaves effortlessly through other plants without crowding them. Standing up to 3 feet tall, Verbena bonariensis bridges the space between lower perennials and taller shrubs, adding depth and height with elegance. It's also a pollinator magnet. Bees, butterflies, and even hummingbirds can't resist its nectar-rich clusters. And here's the bonus. It flowers continuously from midsummer straight through autumn, refusing to let your garden fall silent. This plant thrives in full sun and well-drained soil, and it's self-seeding, meaning it may return in unexpected spots, adding a touch of surprise each year. If it starts to look tired, a quick trim encourages fresh blooms. Verbena bonariensis doesn't just fill gaps, it breathes life and movement into them, ensuring your garden feels alive right until the first frost. Part 3, dramatic heights and structural anchors, mid to back border heroes. Every garden needs plants that stand tall, creating depth and drama. These mid to back border heroes rise above the rest, adding structure while continuing to bloom late into the season. They're the anchors that give your garden a layered look, ensuring beauty doesn't fade when summer ends. 8. Sanguisorba officinalis burnet, the elegant touch of crimson spikes. There's something captivating about Sanguisorba officinalis, also known as burnet. As late summer approaches, this perennial sends up slender stems topped with deep crimson, bottle brush-like flowers that sway gracefully in the wind. Their rich color stands out against the softer hues of surrounding plants, adding a dramatic yet refined accent to your borders. Reaching heights of 3 to 4 feet, burnet is perfect for the middle or back of the border, where its airy presence blends beautifully with ornamental grasses and late-blooming perennials. The blooms last for weeks, often carrying your garden's color story well into autumn. As a bonus, the delicate foliage beneath creates a lush green base that enhances the overall texture of your planting scheme. Pollinators love it, and so will you. This hardy plant thrives in full sun to partial shade and adapts to various soils, even slightly damp ones. It requires little maintenance, just trim back old stems after flowering to keep it tidy. Sanguisorba officinalis is proof that elegance doesn't need to shout. It whispers beauty through every tall, swaying spike, enriching your late-season garden. 9. Scabiosa butterfly blue, the endless dance of soft blooms. Few plants can rival the charm of Scabiosa butterfly blue. Its delicate, pincushion-like flowers appear in soft lavender blue tones, fluttering atop slender stems as if they were tiny butterflies themselves. These blooms start in late summer and just keep coming, one after another, ensuring your garden remains lively when many others begin to fade. Growing about 12 to 18 inches tall, this perennial works beautifully in the mid-border, where it can peek out among taller companions while still standing strong on its own. Its airy habit allows it to blend seamlessly with grasses and other late-season perennials, creating a romantic, meadow-like effect. Scabiosa is also a favorite among pollinators, especially butterflies, adding movement and life to your outdoor space. For gardeners, it's delightfully easy. Give it sun, well-drained soil, and a little deadheading, and it will reward you with months of continuous bloom. Whether used in clusters or scattered throughout the garden, Scabiosa butterfly blue brings an endless sense of grace, turning your late-season beds into a haven of soft color and gentle motion. 10. Solidago fireworks, golden showers that light up the border. When the season edges toward autumn, Solidago fireworks explodes into life, living up to its name with cascades of golden yellow blooms. Its arching stems, covered with tiny star-like flowers, create a dramatic firework effect that instantly brightens any border. This late bloomer doesn't just fill space, it commands attention, lighting up the back of the garden when other plants are fading. Growing up to 5 feet tall, it's ideal for adding height and structure. Despite its bold presence, the plant remains airy, allowing sunlight to filter through and preventing it from overwhelming its neighbors. The golden sprays pair beautifully with deep reds, purples, and ornamental grasses, making your autumn palette truly spectacular. Solidago fireworks thrives in full sun to partial shade and tolerates a variety of soils, even those on the drier side once established. It's low maintenance, requiring little more than a trim after flowering. Loved by pollinators and admired by gardeners, this perennial is a symbol of resilience and energy. Just when the garden seems ready to slow down, it bursts forth with a final dazzling show. 11. Persicaria implexicalis firetail, the endless flame of autumn. If you crave a plant that keeps burning bright long after summer ends, Persicaria implexicalis firetail is the one to choose. Its tall, slender spikes of deep crimson flowers rise steadily from a mound of lush green foliage, creating the illusion of tiny flames flickering across your garden. Unlike many plants that tire quickly, this perennial blooms tirelessly from midsummer until the first frost, ensuring constant color when you need it most. Reaching about 3 to 4 feet in height, firetail makes a striking statement in the middle or back of the border. Its upright form adds structure, while the blooms weave beautifully with other late-season plants, especially ornamental grasses, in golden tones like solidago. The effect is a vibrant tapestry of movement and color that continues to evolve through autumn. This hardy perennial loves moist but well-drained soil and thrives in sun to partial shade. It's low maintenance, rarely troubled by pests or disease, and needs little care beyond cutting back old stems in winter. For gardeners who want bold color without the fuss, Persicaria firetail is a steadfast performer, carrying the garden's energy deep into fall. Part 4. Shades of purple and blue. Cooler tones for balance. As autumn's golden tones take over, cooler colors bring a soothing balance to the garden. Purples and blues add depth, calming the fiery hues of late-season blooms. In this part, we'll explore perennials that weave these serene shades through your borders, creating harmony and elegance as summer fades into fall. 12. Stoichia Blue Danube, the jewel of late summer blues. When the garden craves a touch of cool elegance, Stoichia Blue Danube delivers. This perennial unfolds its blooms like delicate starbursts, each flower a captivating mix of lavender and sky blue. As other plants begin to fade, these vibrant blossoms hold their own, shining brightly from late summer well into autumn. Compact and neat, Blue Danube grows about a foot tall and wide, making it an ideal choice for the front to mid-border. Its tidy clumps stay lush while producing wave after wave of flowers that open fully in the sun, creating a carpet of blue that softens the warmer tones around it. The buds themselves add beauty even before blooming, offering texture and anticipation. This plant thrives in sunny, well-drained spots, asking little from the gardener, yet giving so much in return. Deadheading spent blooms encourages even more flowering, extending its season beautifully. Pollinators adore its nectar-rich petals, so expect to see butterflies hovering as you pass on. Stoichia Blue Danube is a true gem, adding cool serenity and long-lasting charm to the late-season garden. 13. Salvia amistad, the deep purple beacon of autumn. Some plants command attention with their color alone, and Salvia amistad does exactly that. Its velvety, deep purple flowers rise on tall, graceful spikes, contrasting beautifully against the dark green foliage. From late summer into autumn, it blooms continuously, bringing a rich, dramatic tone that complements both fiery reds and golden yellows in the border. Growing up to 4 feet tall, it's perfect for mid-border placement where its long flower spikes can weave elegantly among other perennials. Each stem carries clusters of tubular blooms that not only look stunning, but also hum with life as bees and hummingbirds flock to feed. The plant's aromatic foliage adds another layer of sensory delight whenever you brush past it. Salvia amistad loves full sun and thrives in well-drained soil. It's relatively low maintenance. Simply remove spent flowers to encourage new growth and blooms. With its long season of flowering and bold royal hues, this salvia is a must-have for gardeners who crave drama and elegance. As autumn deepens, its deep purple blossoms remain a steadfast beacon, keeping your garden vibrant and full of energy. 14. Geranium roseate, the wanderer with endless violet blooms. If there's a perennial that feels like a loyal friend to every gardener, it's Geranium roseanne. This award-winning beauty doesn't just bloom, it carpets your garden with waves of violet flowers from midsummer all the way until frost. Each bloom has a delicate dark eye, creating a striking contrast against its fresh green leaves. Even as other flowers fade, roseanne keeps weaving its magic, spilling through borders and mingling with its neighbors. Its trailing habit allows it to wander gracefully, filling gaps and softening edges with ease. You might plant it in one spot, only to find its blooms peeking out playfully in another, adding surprise and charm to your beds. Growing around 20 inches tall, it works equally well in borders, containers, or even hanging baskets where its blooms can cascade freely. This geranium thrives in sun to partial shade and asks very little in return. It's drought-tolerant once established and needs only an occasional trim to encourage fresh growth. Loved by pollinators and adored by gardeners, Geranium roseanne is a tireless performer that ensures your garden remains alive with violet splashes long after summer has slipped away. Part 5, the final flourish plants that hold until frost. As autumn deepens, only the toughest plants continue to shine. These late-season champions hold their beauty until frost, giving your garden a final burst of color and texture. They're the ones that refuse to fade quietly, ensuring your outdoor space stays vibrant even in the year's closing act. 15. Sedum Autumn Joy, the reliable glow of the season's end. When most flowers have finished their show, Sedum Autumn Joy steps confidently into the spotlight. This succulent-leaved perennial starts with clusters of pale pink buds in late summer, which gradually deepen to rich copper and burgundy as autumn progresses. Its color-changing display mirrors the season itself, providing a dynamic focal point right up until frost. Standing 18 to 24 inches tall, its sturdy stems never flop, keeping the plant looking neat and sculptural even after the blooms fade. The fleshy leaves store water, making it incredibly drought-tolerant, a blessing during dry late summer spells. Bees and butterflies love it too, ensuring that even as the days shorten, your garden stays alive with activity. Sedum Autumn Joy thrives in full sun and well-drained soil, asking for almost no care beyond an occasional division every few years. Even in winter, its seed heads stand elegantly against the frost, catching light and adding structure. This plant is the ultimate symbol of resilience, quietly dependable, yet stunning in its own understated way, giving your garden beauty until the very end of the growing season. Crafting a garden that flows through the seasons. As the last days of summer fade and autumn approaches, many gardens slip into silence, but yours doesn't have to. By choosing perennials that bloom late, sway with the wind, and offer texture long after others fade, you can keep your garden alive with color, movement, and life right until the first frost. These 15 plants are more than just flowers. They're your allies in creating a landscape that tells a story, one that evolves beautifully through every season. Remember, a truly stunning garden isn't about filling every inch with blooms at once. It's about timing, layers, and knowing which plants will rise when others rest. Mix low growers like calamintha and potentilla with bold anchors like solidago and persicaria, and weave in grasses and cool purples to keep the eye moving. This combination ensures no gap feels empty, no corner feels forgotten. To all of you who love the art of gardening, the ones who notice the first bud, the shifting light, the dance of petals in the breeze, these choices are for you. Try them, mix them, and watch your late-season garden come alive in ways you've never imagined. Thank you for joining me here on Earthly Delights. If this inspired you to transform your garden, give this video a thumbs up, share it with fellow plant lovers, and subscribe for more tips to keep your green spaces thriving all year round. Your garden's next chapter is waiting. Let's make it bloom together.